Hello and welcome to the Game Guru's Final Fantasy Shadowbringers Dungeon Guide. My name is Sheil and today we're going to be making a bargain and entertain the Foth in Dohn Mheg, which is the second dungeon you'll encounter in the new expansion. Similar to Homeminster's Switch, the trash is trivial and has no noticeable difficulties. As always, stay out of the AoE markers. Auld Hum, the Lord of the Lingering Gaze, is the first boss in this dungeon and is very simple. Candy Cane is our tank buster, and the boss will nearly always start out with this ability. Tanks should use their mitigation and healers should be prepared to quickly heal up the tank after they lose a large chunk of their health. Hydrofall is an AoE ability where the boss will call down 1 or 2 water blasts in a given area, telegraphed by the targeting reticules. The boss will perform Laughing Leap throughout the fight, which is just a targeted location on the floor where the boss will smash. Land's Blood is the only mechanic that's really challenging for players. The boss will summon puddles on the ground, and if they hit a player, they will take damage and get launched in the air, stunning them for a short period of time after they hit the ground. The challenging part is that the puddles explode twice as large as they appear on the ground, so keep your distance. Once a set of pools blow up, move to that location to avoid taking any damage, and continue moving to the recently exploded puddles till the mechanic is done. After all the puddles have exploded, be prepared to stack up with your group for the finishing move. Overall, relatively simple boss once you figure out Land's Blood. Auld is the next boss in Dohn Mheg, and definitely a step up in terms of difficulty. Swinge will occur periodically throughout the fight and is telegraphed by a cone AoE. Notice I didn't say frontal cone? That's because he casts it behind himself, so keep in mind standing directly behind the boss will eventually force you to move. Fodder is a close-range cleave that the tanks have to worry about. The rest of the party needs to stay clear to avoid any cleave. Timber is a party-wide AoE. Healers will have to heal through the damage and tanks be prepared to shield if needed. Coiling Ivy will select each party member with painted roots. These roots will chain each party member down but will still allow you to attack. Break your root and help free anyone else before returning to the boss. Failing to do so means that you won't be able to prepare for the next ability. Painted saplings will spawn around the encounter area, however, these are not targetable. Instead, these mobs will buff the boss with growing. Each party member needs to intercept the line, allowing only one to apply to the boss. If you miss more than one of these saplings, the boss will gain an additional damage increase buff. All in all, avoid AoEs, break out your roots, and intercept lines. Once we clear a few more trash packs, we arrive at Auld Hum, Lord of the Linksome Gate. This boss, much like Philia, has a few tricky mechanics, but let's first talk about the basics. Crippling Blow is your tank busters. Tanks use mitigation as needed. Healers get ready to top off the tank. Vitcherostic Caprico is yet another party-wide AoE. Healers be ready to power through this, and tanks be prepared to pop a shield. Imp Choir is a gaze ability. Players will need to turn away from the boss to avoid turning into an imp. This ability is forecasted by a giant eye over the boss's head. Toad Choir is a wide cone AoE in front of him that will change you into a toad for a few seconds, but can be dodged by moving behind the boss by his cape. Funambulist Fantasia is the boss's unique ability. At the end of the cast, he will push you to the entrance of the arena and split the room into 2 platforms, with a small thin bridge connecting the two. You must tightrope that small bridge and reach the circle in order to cancel his finale. You must be in his circle of protection to cause any damage to his instrument. If you fail to do, your party will wipe. If you do happen to fall off, don't worry, you do not die, but you do get sent back to the start, leaving you with less time to interrupt his finale. But that's not all. After you interrupt the finale, shortly after he will transform into the Shade of Fear and change the entire fight. The boss will turn and cast Corrosive Bile. This ability is not telegraphed, so be sure to stay behind or on the sides during this phase. Flailing Tentacles will cause the boss to smash all 4 of his tentacles into the ground, reaching the edge of the encounter area. However, you could stand between them to avoid the slam. Keep in mind that Bile will continue raining down from above, telegraphed by AoE circles. Eventually, the boss will return to his frog form and will repeat the same moves as he did in the first phase, until victorious. That wraps up Dohn Mheg and the second dungeon in Shadowbringers. The instance was beautifully designed and a steady increase in difficulty is fitting. If you did find this guide to be helpful, please give it a thumbs up and consider subscribing to the channel. Or better yet, join me and the rest of the Game Gurus community on Discord. That link will be in the description below. My name is Sheil, and whether it's magic, mystery, or mayhem, remember, never make a bargain with the Voth.